This year, the Patton College hosted its 8th annual Advocacy and Leadership Summit. This year's theme was Advocacy as a two-way street. This year, we really wanted to focus on ways that we could provide tools for our students and our faculty on how they form relationships with legislators and policymakers, how they can be seen as a reliable resource so that as they're coming up with decisions or contemplating an issue, they really feel like they know a person and can reach out to that person to help inform their stance. This year, we started off the summit with a personal experience of a student who I had the pleasure of going and bringing with me to Washington, D.C. when we spoke with our legislators. And she really gave a very firsthand account of her anxiety and nerves about getting into this opportunity and really how good she felt after engaging in that as a really important form of advocacy for her as a future teacher.
At ACT Day on the Hill, they said your college student who comes is going to be the one that talks the most. And I remember looking at Connie and like, what? And so I thought I was just going to be more of an observer during all these meetings with legislators, and then it turned out that I was going to be talking a lot. And at first I thought a small town girl like me who, like I said, I don't like confrontation, I don't talk in front of people. I totally expected I was just going to be talking to people that had different views than me or didn't really care what someone that grew up in a one stoplight town had to say, but I quickly learned, like you said, that it's a two-way street, and they really engaged in conversation with us, and it was honestly just like sitting at a table and talking to someone and introducing yourself and just talking about how you felt. And I think the biggest thing for me was that it made me realize that it wasn't just an opportunity for me, it was an obligation, because as an educator, if I don't advocate for my students and their families, who's going to, especially in Appalachia? So that was my biggest takeaway from it, is that we have to do it. It's not just something that if you get the chance to do, you should. Like, it's our obligation. So,
thank you. Thank you. We also really moved into the event with our two key speakers. We had Eric Richard, who is the Director of Government Relations for Ohio University. And then we followed up with Debbie Phillips, who is a former Ohio state legislator representing the 94th District in the state of Ohio. And really, both of them were able to give very inside information about what works. We wanted to empower the audience to know that they're the ones who know their experience the best, and they're the ones who know their professions the best. And we want legislators and policymakers to know that if they're a reliable resource, and the participants to know that if they're a reliable resource, then many times these policymakers will really come to them to seek information.
There are issues that I'm not going to change your mind on, and there are issues that people won't change my mind on. And when you get to that point of a conversation, that's when you just have to say, we're going to respectfully agree to disagree, and pivot off of that and move on to try to find your intersections of interest. What are the things that we do agree upon? What are the things that we can work on together to move the ball forward and make it better for whatever we're advocating for? Public higher education, LGBT rights, DACA, anything, but you please don't ever be judgmental when you're advocating, because nothing will make your meeting go sideways quicker than somebody feeling like they're being judged and put on the defensive, because then they're going to strike back at you, and you will lose the debate, at least in that meeting at that time. You won't necessarily lose the debate, but you will lose your ability to be persuasive.
But in general, when legislators start, we have 99 members in the Ohio House with 8-year term limits. So there is a phenomenal amount of turnover, and you can have 30 plus members who are walking in the door for the first time at the beginning of any given General Assembly. And legislators at the state level are dealing with higher education, highway construction, the correction system, Medicaid, insurance regulations, school funding, public utility policy. Like, any one of these things is a really big area of complex policy, and it could take a decade to develop a really effective working knowledge of what's going on in current regulations and what trends are coming and how you're going to be effective. So no legislator is going to walk in the door with expertise in all of these issues. And you have expertise in the area where you work and study. You have information that can help legislators make better decisions.
So it was a great experience, being that I had kind of a backstage view of the whole event. It was nice to kind of know the purpose beforehand and then see it all happen. I think it went really well, and what I liked most about it, Dr. Patterson had this idea where she would have all of us take a note card and write some initiatives and some things that we want to fight for and write them down on paper. And I saw a lot of parallels between people's responses, and it was kind of empowering because so many people in this community and on campus have all these interests and all these things that they want to advocate for. So just understanding that there's people with similar beliefs and stuff like that, it was kind of awesome.
The Patton College offers this event annually, in addition to a variety of other events that really seek to promote opportunities for our students and our faculty to engage in advocacy initiatives. So each fall we have this Advocacy Summit, and I'm always open to other suggestions from students and faculty about ways we can support their advocacy initiatives.